Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Sherrone Moore, Michigan, going on the road to play USC. And as a Michigan fan myself, I'll just start this episode with this. If Michigan goes on the road and gets the job done this weekend, I am all aboard the college football playoff hype train. In fact, I will completely sell myself on that depending on how it looks Saturday night. Now, what I wanted to do before we go into this football game, a little mid-year check-in, the little mid-year superlatives. We're going to talk about the MVPs of this football team, talk about some of the most improved players. We got the biggest surprises. Those are some of the things that excite me the most. Number one, it feels like there are a lot of players that are getting better as the season goes on and are a hell of a lot better from what they were in 2024. We're going to talk about it. This is my favorite one. The second half of the year breakout candidates, because you feel like some of these cats are just kind of chomping at the bit and are ready to break out any given game. And I think we see some of them break out Saturday night against USC. Fired up to get into it. Before we do, and as always, look, best part about this episode for the Michigan fans, please let it fly in the comment section. And Dill, you don't even know the awards that I'm giving out, so I'm sure you're going to have some takes as well. But to the Michigan fans listening, please let it fly in the comment section. I try to include as many players as possible, but Dill, there's only so much room that I have on my notepad. So let it fly, and appreciate you guys, man. Many of y'all have been rocking with the boys for a very long time. The support means the world. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Dill, without further ado, I'm fired up. I'm probably shouldn't be as excited as I am to get into this one, but fired up. Let's start with the MVPs. This one, to me, pretty damn obvious. On the offensive side of the football, you have to give it to Justice Haynes. On the defensive side of the football, I think you have to give it to Jay Sean Barham. Any players I'm sleeping on, or any comments on my MVP selections?
Not the offense. I think that's pretty obvious. Anyone who's watched Michigan knows, not only just consistently Justice Haynes being productive, but especially when Michigan's in a rut. I mean, he's the guy to kind of dig them out of it with those explosive plays.
Yeah.
The defensive side, I think you probably have some other guys. Mine, Jair Hill, and again, cornerbacks probably never be able to outwardly get that MVP treatment like a Mason Graham.
Yep.
I mean, a dominant defensive lineman, like that type of guy, just a little bit more present maybe on most people's minds. But Jair Hill, is a true number one guy to me, and been responsible for creating some turnovers. I think he's got an argument because
you talk about one of the most important players Saturday night. It's going to be Jair Hill. USC has by far the best wide receivers that we have seen so far in 2025. Jair Hill is going to have to be at his best. And this is a USC team that wants to push the football down the field. I love that one. I feel like because he's so good and not a lot of people are throwing at him, I feel like we just forget that Jair Hill has been really damn good for Michigan to start 2025. How about this one, Dill? Most improved football players. I got two of them for us. Number one, can we give some love to Greg Crippen at center? Dill, this is a guy that was not even the starting center to start 2024, kind of battles back the starting job midway through 2025, was never all that consistent, and you rarely see it. Year 4 to year 5 jump. Normally players are what they are at that point in their career. Doug, Greg Crippen has taken a monster jump in 2025, and I would argue probably been the most consistent and best offensive lineman for Michigan up front so far.
And Evan Link's made some steps too, for sure. But in terms of pure dominance, Greg Crippen's starting to play that way. Evan Link probably still has a ways to go.
Evan Link just he was down a little bit far. He was a problem last year, so we had a lot of room.
I look Evan Link again. He's making the strides you want to see him make. I'm kind of with you. Greg Crippen's playing really high level center. That Nebraska game, he was legitimately dominant, very responsible for multiple big plays in that game. I'm kind of with you. There's some other guys who are making some steps on offense. Greg Crippen, though, no one's come further.
What I would also throw in there is he's working with the true freshman quarterback. So that puts a little bit more responsibility on Greg Crippen to get the pass protections right and get the calls right. And it feels like, as a unit, Michigan's been cleaner up front too, picking up stunts, picking up second-level defenders. I'm a monster Greg Crippen fan going into the second half of the year. Second one, go over to the defense side of the football, Dylan. It has to be Cole Sullivan. This kid went from, look, we heard the buzz last year. Physically, I don't think he was ready. And year two, this kid's just a ball player, man. The thing that I love most about Cole Sullivan is last year, like Michigan's linebackers were good, right? Jayshon Barham, Ernest Hausman. The fundamental problem that I had was it didn't feel like our off-ball linebackers were like leaving a fingerprint on the football game, so to speak. Cole Sullivan, in the snaps that he gets this year, it always seems like when there's a play to be made, like Cole Sullivan's coming up with that play, and that is invaluable for what Michigan's trying to do on the defensive side of the football.
And I don't mind the Cole Sullivan pick, but I'm not sure you can go. I'd go Brandon Hillman personally, because Cole Sullivan, you're right. Like there is a quality to him in terms like his gamer or his like ball player characteristic. Like, yeah, when the ball's in the air, you feel like, oh, he's probably gonna go make a play on it. When a screen's kind of thrown, he's gonna go sniff it out and not just like get a guy down for like a 2-yard gain, but like sniff it out.
The negative plays, I believe Ernest Hausman last year had 2 TFLs all season. And that's not me picking on Ernest Hausman. That's just a fact. Cole Sullivan through the first half of the year already has 3, and he's still getting rotated, and he's still not playing a ton of football. I think he should be playing a little bit more football. Brandon Hillman, though.
I'll take Cole Sullivan, but Brandon Hillman, I mean, he is like he's playing pretty much every snap, it feels like, and he is dominant.
Yep.
Like he's hammering guys still. It's really fun. I don't think you're seeing many busts. Like I know the Nebraska one, there was that one where they went to a cover 3 and he left a guy up the middle of the field. For sure kind of happened, but I don't think you're seeing a ton from him, and he is making some real impact plays.
I feel like he's always around the football and kind of gets a bad rep as just this lunatic. And look, he
is a little bit
like,
of that.
He's a little bit of a lunatic, but I feel like it's a little bit more dialed in than a lot of Michigan fans like to think. You know, he doesn't make a ton of mistakes. You mentioned that one mistake. Obviously, the unsportsmanlike too. Can't have that. Go celebrate with your team. From a down-to-down basis, pretty damn consistent. Always seems to be around the football.
And the energy is like awesome. It's so fun watching him play because he's out there, he's going nuts, he's celebrating. It's like, again, I like what he brings to Michigan like a lot.
Gives us a little bit of edge on the defensive side of the football. I like that one too. All right, biggest surprises. What's been the biggest surprise so far in 2025? I got 2 big ones. Number one, Jaden Sanders, true freshman cornerback. If you would have told me, hey, there's going to be a freshman cornerback that plays a lot, I probably would have told you it would have been Shamari Earls. Jaden Sanders, summer enrollee. So he wasn't in here for the winter, wasn't in here for the spring, has come on the campus and immediately has emerged as a guy that Wink Martindale and Lamar Morgan trust. And as a freshman, have you seen a singular freshman mistake from Jaden Sanders so far? And he's played a lot of football. I cannot believe how impressive he's been to start 2025.
No arguments there. Again, he was a guy who wasn't even in an early enrollee, and he's playing at an incredibly high.
Okay, how about this one? Donovan McCulley being a legitimate wide receiver 1 in the Big Ten. Is that an overreaction to what we saw against Wisconsin, or is that do we feel good about him?
He's still like, now I want to see him get fed like that, and can he produce week after week? Because that's going to be the question. I mean, when he's gotten his shots, he has made the plays we need him to make. Yeah. It was a little frustrating now looking back. Like, well, it took this long to give him 10 touches in a football game, or like really kind of target him the way they did in the second half of the Wisconsin game. I am kind of interested to see if they keep doing that moving forward. I think they frankly have to, because I don't know who else is going to make those sort of plays. And then like from there, you probably can really evaluate, is he like that true wide receiver 1?
Okay, how about if I rephrase it like this? Legitimate wide receiver 1 ability. Like he's getting open. He's making the contested catches when given the opportunities, showing. Here's one thing that I would like to see a little bit more of. Like, give this kid some more yards after the catch opportunities, because he's hard. He is hard for these defensive backs to bring down. I think you can put him as your centerpiece in this Michigan passing attack. And go look at how we talked about him in the summer. Like we loved what we were hearing from the program. We weren't necessarily buying. He's never really been that wide receiver 1 back at his time at Indiana. I think he's got that ability. I think we got to start treating him like that wide receiver one the rest of the way. Last one I'll throw in there, Demond Payne, like coming from Bama. Thought I wasn't even sure how much he'd be featured in the rotation. I thought Rayshon Benny was better. I thought Trey Pierce was better. I thought Trey Williams was better. Demond Payne is in there with anybody in the middle of that
Well,
defensive
there's
line.
been multiple games where you could probably say he was our best defensive tackle. And that's, again, like you talk about, I was like, oh, he might be a 10 to 20 snap a game guy, maybe. If that's like, that'd be good if you get that from him. Because that is kind of what it looked like to Alabama. It just, like, again, Alabama's defensive line, he shouldn't have necessarily been squeezed out as much as he was. Because you look right now, that's not the like prototypical Alabama defensive line. Those guys were all kind of on the field last year. Him coming in and being like, I mean, right there, rotating with the ones kind of thing and playing like that, not just like being out there because he has to be.
I think they miss him at Alabama, man. Like go watching them. I think they miss his presence and his snaps that he could bring that football team. All right, underappreciated. A lot of players. Jimmy Rolder. I think because of all the Cole Sullivan buzz, we kind of act like Jimmy Rolder's chopped liver. Jimmy Rolder's been damn solid for Michigan. There is a reason Michigan fought like hell to keep this kid from entering the portal. If Jimmy Rolder entered the portal, he's a starting linebacker at 90% of the schools across the country. You start looking at the numbers, 28 tackles. That is second on the team. Jimmy Rolder, second on the team in tackles, only missing 6.5% of those tackles, 7 run stops. I feel like we got to talk a little bit more about Jimmy Rolder. Here's the other one. I'm going to let you cook on this one. How about Jake Winera and that guard? He ain't giving that starting job back. Like Giovanni Lahadi's going to come back healthy, and he's going to take over, I would think, for Nate Afobe. I don't think Jake Winera is going anywhere.
No,
I think
he better not. He better not be out for Brady Norton because I look like what I've seen player to player. Jake Winera is a guy I'd want out there for sure.
2 things that stand out. One, really powerful, right? He is an explosive, powerful cat, especially. This is what excites me. I just talked about the playoffs, so we got to stay in the present. I'm starting to let my imagination wander to what this offensive line looks like in 2026. Dude, it's going to be nasty. Because here's another guy like Blake Frazier. I was thinking about throwing him in my second half of the year breakout camp. I think Blake Frazier is going to be a very good football player for Michigan. I love the young pieces that Michigan has on the offensive line. Last one, unsung hero, Dale. I'm going to scroll to him too. You probably know where I'm going. TJ Metcalf. Dude's just been solid. Been one of the most consistent football players for this Michigan defense all year. Dale, here's a fun fact for you. Who do you think's played the most? You said Brandon Hillman has been on the football field pretty much all year. TJ Metcalf.
Who else has even played the nickel spot? I feel like TJ Metcalf, he's not coming off the field much either. It feels like.
He's leading this defense in snaps. And Dill, the thing is, they'll put him everywhere. They'll put him at nickel. They'll kick him back to that free safety look. He'll fit the run. He'll be sticky in coverage. I feel like sometimes we get, as college football fans, get bored with consistency. It's hard to find guys that are consistently going to do their job and do their job at a high level. And TJ Metcalf's not a guy that's going to be super flashy and make a ton of flashy plays. But in terms of guy that you know what you're going to get every single snap he's on the football field, I feel like that's been TJ Metcalf. Really heady football player too. One of, if not the most underappreciated players on this roster.
You know who I'll give you one is Jordan Marshall. And the more we talk about Justice Haynes, I know he's been awesome. Jordan Marshall's had some huge runs for Michigan. I feel like kind of a slow start, honestly.
Yeah,
like the
I
first
agree.
couple of games, you probably could have put him on like the disappointment list.
Yep.
And then I feel like you started to see him get going a little bit and had a really nice game against Nebraska. So to me, I think Justice Haynes, he deserves to be touching the ball most of the time. Wouldn't argue with that.
Yep.
Jordan Marshall's had some big runs down the stretch in some of these football games.
Yeah, and he runs so hard, man. He runs so hard. I don't hate that one. All right, best talking point or best superlative in my opinion. Second half breakout watch list. I got 3 names that I love. I actually have 4 names. 2 of them are combo names. Marlon Klein and Hogan Hansen. I just like Marlon Klein got because they'll think about how this went against New Mexico. It's like, whoa, Marlon Klein might be the best pass catcher on this team. And then he gets banged up. and now he's fully back healthy. I want to see him kind of get treated like we were treating him against New Mexico. And then Dill Hogan Hansen, if this kid can stay healthy for an extended period of time, he is such a talented catcher of the football. He's going to be on the field a lot for Michigan. We just got to get him stay healthy. And if he does stay healthy, he's going to be a difference maker for Michigan down the road in 2025, especially as we're looking for guys that we trust to catch the football on Saturdays.
I know it's been so disappointing that he hasn't been healthy to start this year. Like I feel like I want it so bad, and you saw the Central Michigan play like remind you a little bit of
Yeah.
Colson Loveland getting up there making contested catch, just like Colson Loveland in his freshman year in that Big Ten title game. You just want it, you want it so bad, and he's just been hurt all year. So it's been really disappointing start. But you are right, like they get him going, especially with the way some of the wide receivers have been playing and how disappointing probably that's been. I really want Hogan Hansen out
Rod
there.
Moore, number 2 for me. I mean, look, Rod Moore's mind.
No, I'm saying
in
like
what world
he was back against Wisconsin.
Yes.
Like physically, he looked the part. We knew like his brain's not going anywhere, so you obviously knew that.
Yeah.
But like he was running, he looked right, he was tackling the way I remember him tackling in 2023. Really, really fun.
He looked way more right than he did making that play against Nebraska.
Wow,
and Dill, here's the thing: is I'm looking at that safety position, and I don't mean to take a shot, but I mean outside of Brandon Hillman, you haven't really seen a ton of good play from Jaden Mangum. You haven't really seen Mason Curtis as much as I expected to see Mason Curtis. If Rod Moore can emerge and even get back to 90% of what he was in that national championship year, him and Brandon Hillman, number one, balance each other out. Like Brandon Hillman, the lunatic that's just flying downhill and just hitting anybody with the pulse. But then Rod Moore, like the calculated assassin ball hawk in the back end. I
feel say that little diatribe you went on felt a little disrespectful to Mangum because frankly he's been solid. I don't think like it's not like he's making the impact plays Rod Moore will make. And Rod Moore,
we're missing tackles, man. Mangum's missing tackles.
I see. I don't know. I haven't looked at him as like, oh, that's been a problem. Like again, he hasn't been awesome. But that's giving me a good, clean like depth at that safety spot.
I think you just said it right. Right. I think that because you look at Michigan and say you feel really good about the impact all of these starters have. And I look at Jaden Mangum, and you're right, maybe a little disrespectful. Jaden Mangum, if you're listening to the boys 17 minutes in, I apologize. I feel like Rod Moore's impact, it can be a massive upgrade in terms of what we have at that position.
The thing is, you'd say that about like a lot of safeties in the country. I don't think you could name many who, when Rod Moore's been at his best,
I agree.
In his level of play. I mean,
what we saw from him getting going is big. All right, last one, Andrew Marsh. That's an obvious one, right? That's just an absolute layup. I expect Andrew Marsh to be a starting wide receiver the rest of the year, and I expect what we saw from Andrew Marsh against Wisconsin. All right, biggest disappointments. The two obvious ones, Shannon Goodwin, right? Fred Moore, he's not even on the roster. You could maybe throw in Samaj Morgan.
I think he might have to. He's just way too many drops for a guy of his age. And like what Sherrone Moore said, I don't care how hard he throws the ball, you got to catch him. And I know some of them have been heaters, but like you got.
My biggest frustration is why are we treating him like he's a first? I feel like we're treating him like he's one of the best wide receivers in the conference. And then I'm looking at Marlon Klein. I'm looking at Donovan McCulley. I'm looking at what we saw from Andrew Marsh and say, I feel like the emphasis on getting Samaj Morgan touches is coming at the expense of some better players being left out of the game a little bit. All right, here's the other one, and you might disagree with this. TJ Guy.
Yeah, hasn't had the impact you probably would want him. And hasn't even been playing a ton, it feels like.
Yeah, and it's not like TJ Guy's been bad. In fact, I would almost make the argument that I would like to see TJ Guy play a little bit more. But
it's like, have you seen him close to that game against Ohio State? Like he was awesome in that game against Ohio State, and I feel like that like gave you a taste of what you kind of wanted in 2025. And I don't think
it's hard because it's hard to bang the table to take off Derek Moore. It's hard to bang the table to take off Jay Sean Barham. Here's what I will say though, and this is probably my gripe. And I'm just sitting here in my basement. Lou Esposito, in my opinion, one of the best in the country. Should Cam Brandt be getting that many more snaps than TJ Guy?
Cam Brandt's been playing well, though, man. I think. Like, Cam Brandt has impressed me. So I think the pass rush juice has been a little bit upped, if you will, in terms of what he's been doing. I've liked what you've gotten from Cam Brandt.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more TJ Guy's a better pass rusher. I kind of want and here's the fun conversation is, all right, you're playing a USC team that look, USC can run the football better than they could last year, and they've shown the ability and the want to actually stick to the run game. I would be surprised if USC has a ton of success running the football here. I think they're going to try to throw. Is this the game where TJ Guy plays a little bit more? Like when you're playing a team like Wisconsin, Cam Brandt probably go and play a little bit more. I wonder what they do with TJ Guy, Cam Brandt. How about one other second half breakout right quick before we cut this? Nate Marshall, my guy, one of my favorite outside of Bryce, my favorite freshman that came in. Super fired up for what Nate Marshall can be. All right,
Yeah,
we'll
they
close it
just
out.
haven't trusted him with real snaps yet, I feel
No,
like.
no,
He's
no.
been in some, like, garbage time, and he's
Yep.
looked awesome. It's been fun, but I
Yeah.
don't know. He's not getting really anything.
That's
So
what
it's
I
tough
mean, though.
breaking out. Tough, like, they're not giving him the opportunity to, and I think that says something probably about where he's at right now.
He's going to be sick next year. All right, we'll close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later.